Hello, my name is Ben Friedman here from the Beniverse, and I just want to say I was blown away by the support I got for my review of RRR, and that inspired me to do something that I've been wanting to do on this channel for a while, which was review more international films. International, again, for me being a US citizen, I wanted to talk about films that were not released in the US. I don't have a great encyclopedia knowledge of international films. There's definitely been some that I've watched. There's also been a lot that I've missed, and I just wanted to take this channel as an opportunity to be able to start expanding my horizon in films. And I decided what better way to start this series than by talking about the film from a director who inspired the inception of this series with S.S. Rajamouli. So today I am reviewing the film Baahubali, The Beginning. With that all said, thank you for watching. Welcome to the Beniverse. Baahubali, The Beginning. This film is directed by S.S. Rajamouli and stars Prabhas in dual roles as both Baahubali and Sivudu. Baahubali, The Beginning is a 2015 Tollywood epic. The film follows Sivudu, a young man with superhuman strength. When he meets Avantika, a young woman with whom he fancies, the two decide to go off on an adventure to free the city of Mahishmati from tyrannical rule. Along the way, they meet Amarendra Baahubali, the crown prince of Mahishmati. Apologies right now. I tried looking up a lot of these words to pronounce correctly. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing them correctly, but I am basing my pronouncement off other YouTubers who've reviewed this film or have talked or done interviews with it. So I hope I'm correct, but there might be some mistakes. So please go easy on me. The story of Baahubali comes from Rajamouli's dad as well as the director's interest in ancient Indian folklore. And I believe that becomes quite apparent throughout the movie. Baahubali often feels like a fairy tale. Its story is larger than life, there's heavy elements of fantasy, and there is a strong sense of good versus evil. That is not to say that there is a literal magic within this film, but rather Baahubali does not concern itself in feeling grounded or within the notions of what we consider reality. Rajamouli's storytelling is often grand and over the top. Our heroes are not men, but rather personifications of right versus wrong. Our good guys are clearly defined as altruistic, while our bad guys are clearly morally wrong. And to some audiences, this might feel too black and white and be a turnoff. It may feel like these characters have a lack of characterization, but what I think Rajamouli does so well as a director and a writer is he spends the time to develop these characters. This is really evident within the first half of the film. The first half of the film is much slower. There is much less action. The world feels totally centralized to our main characters. As the film progresses, it takes the typical hero's story motifs and begins to expand our hero's world, thus changing his worldview. And in doing so, it gives these characters a greater sense of realism because we can relate to the feeling of adventure and stepping out of our comfort zone into something bigger than us, which is really important in doing in a film like this because this allows the action to be as over the top as it is. And let's make it no secret of this film. Rajamouli captures incredible action sequences. That is something that he has done in his latest film, and that is something that we can see in his early filmography like this. Some of the set pieces in this film are quite literally jaw-dropping, especially in the last half hour of the film, where the action is abundant and it's pretty amazing. And what I like so much about his style as a director is Rajamouli does not concern himself with the realism within the action. It doesn't try to make the stunts and violence look grounded like so many other films, especially now, do. Rather, he goes to the exact opposite and makes it crazy ridiculous. Kind of think that Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Running Man, those early Schwarzenegger and early Stallone 80s movies where they just allowed the characters to be larger than life. It's not concerned with making them fit into the context of what we consider realism of a hero. Rather, it just lets them be a hero of literally folklore. Let directors make these types of films that only feel plausible on the big screen. Audiences won't care. they're going to embrace it. The success of this movie, of RRR, and some of the other over-the-top action movies prove this. Audiences don't always need grounded realism to convey the action. It's fun. That's what it is. It's fun when we get to see movies embrace the full scale of movies and just say, we're going to make something visually stunning and impressive. And that's what Baahubali does. Every shot within this film just feels so carefully framed. As characters go into darker mindsets, we literally see the film's lighting literally darken. Rajamouli is so concerned with letting the visuals on screen tell the story and less concerned with letting his screenplay tell the story. If there was one director I had to compare this to, I think a good comparison is the American director Zack Snyder, who does this often with a lot of his films. And this isn't me making an original point. I said this in my RRR review as well. And this isn't me even comparing the two directors and saying they are the exact level of quality, talent, and just filmmakers, and that one is ripping off the other or one is borrowing from the other. That's not what I'm saying at all. Do not confuse me. But I think they share a lot of the same similar sensibilities. Both are visual storytellers who are meticulous in how the film looks on the big screen. Both utilize slow motion effects to better demonstrate the stunt choreography and set design. And finally, both are stylish directors. It often feels like their goal is to make something that looks incredible and looks cool. And this heavy, stylized approach has its positives and its drawbacks as well. Zack Snyder has always been praised for his world building and geographical sense of location. Look at a film like Zack Snyder's Justice League, where we get to see the different kingdoms, including man, Amazon, underwater. We get to see space. We get to see the world of Darkseid. We get to see scenes that take place in the past. We get to see Gotham. We get to see Metropolis. We get to go all over the world. And yet each city and each location has a unique look to them, making it easy to differentiate where we are within the film and where this story is taking place at any given moment. And of course, the criticism with Zack Snyder has always been his character development, where some of his visual storytelling feels like it doesn't allow for the storytelling to breathe and that those characters can be undercooked. I actually think Rajamouli has a similar issue, but kind of the reverse. I think Rajamouli is a really good storyteller and how he develops and writes his characters. I think their motives feel clear, and I feel like their natural story arc from beginning to end plays out in a way that feels traditional, but also gives excitement. And really, these characters just feel fully lived in. But I will then say the issue with his direction is at times he can struggle with creating a sense of place. There are times throughout Baahubali where I find it hard to follow where we are in the world. When we travel to different kingdoms and villages, it can often feel much of the same, and it makes it hard to differentiate the location's significance within the film. And that becomes even more challenging when flashbacks are incorporated into the film. I would compare that to seeing a director learning how to, quote unquote, ride a bike. It's not the smoothest film. He is still learning the craft. There are aspects of the film that don't particularly work well. Characters like Avantika, the female character, feels underutilized. The dialogue can often feel quite stiff. The scale of the action at times kind of gets lost because there's so much going on that he has trouble capturing everything. It's learning to develop these skills and learning what to hone in. And I think he is able to do that, as evidenced by his latest film, RRR. But again, this is a stepping stone to what will become his opus. And one thing I want to say before giving my final score for Baahubali is that this film is available to stream in America on Netflix, but please do be aware that there are multiple versions of this film on Netflix, each having the film dubbed in different languages. There is, in fact, an English dub, which is what I watched. I wouldn't recommend that. When I selected that, I didn't realize that this film was available in its native language. And I would encourage people, if you were going to watch this film, to check it out in its original language. The American dubs, to just say it quite plainly, are quite distracting, especially when the American dubbers, they have Midwest or SoCal accents that just don't match up with the characters they are playing, where they are within the world, and especially when juxtaposed to the music and the songs that stay in the original language unchanged, it just makes for something that feels so disjointed and odd. And it's not a viewing experience that I would recommend. Take the time to watch it with subtitles on. You're going to get more out of this film, I promise. I'm going to give Baahubali the beginning 3 out of 4 stars. Thank you all for watching. I'm really excited to be covering more international films. I've been actually working, like I said, on a project for a while now, and this is kind of giving me the excuse to start it on this channel. And next week I want to really kick it off with some other films from around the world. And next week I'm kicking off this series with the 2003 South Korean thriller Oldboy. If there is any international film, and again, international, I'm in the United States, so anything not in the United States that you think I should review, leave a comment in this video and I'll consider adding it to the list. I have a bunch of movies already on the list, but I'm always looking for suggestions, so make the case in the comments below. Also, this week on Ben and Bran See a Movie, we are covering Jordan Peele's 2017 film Get Out in honor of his latest film, Nope, coming out this Friday. I will have both an episode on Get Out coming on this channel and on my podcast feed, as well as a review of Nope coming sometime later this week. If you're at all interested in any of that, please check out the description below. As always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. From the Beniverse, my name is Ben Friedman. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.